Here we are on almost a month. It's crazy. Time's flying by. I made copies of the bid plan. Has everybody seen that? Dave, have you?
I have not.
You have not. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So what we talked about last month, was it last month? Yes, it was, wasn't it? Was breaking down, well, we talked about goals for the CIC, and that mirrored the town board's goals for 2023, and set the 3 top priorities or goals as develop and implement the bid plan, and 1, 4, and 5, prioritize and implement stages of sidewalk and multimodal transportation improvement plan, and prioritize and implement stages of infrastructure and road improvement plan. So we discussed those, but kind of segued into the fact that we as a town have multiple land use and planning documents that are available and that we use and that guide us, particularly in the development office as we review applications. So the education on those is important, and what we have. I actually brought this list again. So as a reminder, these are all available on the town's website. You have that? Yeah. Sarah did that. Sarah created it, so she's got it. So I think as a group, we decided to start with the bid plan and kind of help the town board and help the town as an entity work through that. Anybody else want to chime in? Dave?
Well, that is probably the #1 priority that's currently out there is the bid plan for the town board. So I think it's very timely and important. And I think the more information that you can get to the town board on that is great.
So what Doug did before he went on vacation is created this binder, which is incredible, and it has all of the relevant documents related to basically the creation of the bid and all the plans that are associated with it. And he and I talked yesterday and thought that the most important I guess plan for you all, for us to look at, was the plan I passed around. Yeah. This is the guiding document. Guiding document. And it also includes a little bit of a history. Right. So how we got to, actually the history in there is pretty great. How we got to today, how it's evolved. Well, and I guess the question is, what kind of guidance is the town board looking for? So it's good that you're here, Dave. And what would the town board like to see from the CIC? We can talk that through.
Yeah. And of course I speak for me, not the entire town board, but I think like the history of it like this would be good, how we got here, what the goal was at the end. I mean, obviously it's formation of the bid, but what are the key steps that are going to take place that would that makes that happen, and what's the timeline look like? Okay.
Well, I'd like to say, looking at the end of the document where it says there's a 15-year time frame on it all, is quite realistic in terms of, you know, getting the bid off the ground and going, because there's a lot of little things that take a lot of time, you know, that are in this. So I think that part is pretty realistic, and maybe working backwards from that in terms of coming up with a playbook or, you know, time frames could be really beneficial. to the town board and to us also.
Well, I know one of the things the town board was talking about last night was streetlights in the bid in the uptown area, which would, I mean, I don't know if that's part of the bid or not, but it certainly seems like it ought to be. But they're talking about going forward with that because they're so awful right now out there now. So I think those are important issues to get out there.
What's the rule on providing streetlights? Will it be the developer that does a certain section, puts up the street?
No,
it be the municipality.
It will be the municipality, and that's part of the fee or that they're paying as the developer.
Are we going to do it with the sidewalks? Like previously, when somebody came in with an apartment project, we made them put in sidewalks to nowhere.
Right, we're still doing that.
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, we're getting to a place where we can join the sidewalks. Yeah, Trolley Station, for instance, is now going to link to the Edgemere parcel project. Now it will dead end at the edge of Edgemere, but that's why, we have that connectivity.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it came up snow plowing, like the town board approved the machine to plow, but we don't have it yet, but we might plow in April. That's part of the bid, you know what I mean? So we really need to get going on the steps that it needs to implement that. I think the town has purchased the machine, but it really should belong to the bid. I mean, in my mind, belong to the bid, and then you lease back to the town, or we're going to do that for whatever we do it. Use that machine for outside of plowing and stuff at the bid. I mean, in uptown.
When we talk about the bid, and help me out, does it truly exist now? And are we collecting?
Yes, it does exist. Okay. It's basically the town board and their role as the bid administrators, the bid board. Now they haven't met yet as the bid. Now I know that's April. Do you have a date?
17th or 13th.
It's 5 o'clock right before your town board meeting.
Right.
So 17th. That's.
Yeah.
So if we could craft something for them prior to that meeting, that would be helpful, I think.
And in the background, Jim and I and someone from the Genesee Finger Lakes Regional Planning Council are beginning to work on an RFP for the streetlights on 332, because I know that was the plan. We aren't there yet, but that's something that that you guys would, approve, whoever comes in with whatever proposal that you guys like.
Right.
Are there state regulations that tell us what have to go up, or what the configuration and the height and greatness and all that?
Sure, there are. It is along a state road.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
Jim had somebody in mind. He said last night that they had a design and everything that they were comfortable with, but
yeah, and Chris,
both the state and the town. When you say they
meaning we.
Yeah, Chris Jensen has been helping with that.
Tells you what you can do.
I think it's pretty broad in terms of that.
I mean, he has. I mean, he knows what the regulations are as far as that kind of stuff in the Department of Transportation, but.
So I think they spec that out, and they have at least one person that they feel comfortable with and a design, because I think they want to be not just the Cobra head.
Decommercialize it somewhat.
Right.
Make it as best possible.
Right, exactly.
And we all know that Chris is a pro on lighting.
Yeah, and he has been advising them because he's a lighting guy. He is a pro at that. Yeah. Yep.
Chris Jensen.
Well, I think a place to start, getting back to what Dave was talking about regarding equipment and things, would be with Jim. I don't know at this point how many miles of sidewalk there is to be cleared out. Cutouts take additional time. And I think that would be important. And he could direct us to the type of equipment, machinery, that we would need, because there may be more than just one piece, more than just the snow blower or something like that, that we would need to be able to do it in a timely manner. I'm assuming the businesses in the bid would probably be looking at a 9 or 10 a.m. open time, for their customers on that. I know that probably snow removal, on that strip of road down there could get pretty heavy, like the end of your driveway gets when the plow comes through and stuff. So just some things to consider.
I believe we've already purchased the machine, so I know we have it. Deliveries due in April, so they bought Bobcat Toolcat. That's pretty heavy duty, all climate controlled inside. Hopefully the parks will have some access to it in the non-snow plowing time, but I mean, somebody has to decide where it's going to be kept. Where are you going to? Is it going to be at the firehouse? Is there some other spot? Because you probably don't want to drive across town every time you need to plow, like you say. That'll eat up quite a bit of time.
Great, good.
So I think Jim kind of researched the machine, so the machine's coming just in time for hopefully no more snow. But we could start plowing if we get April storms, I guess.
There's money left in the snow budget.
Yeah.
But I think that budget, that would come out of the bid, right? That's
yes, it would. That would be separate.
They've already collected tax on it. So
yes.
There is money in the bid, right?
Yeah, I don't know how much is in there. Start.
I know people were complaining about it.
What about like trash pickup?
No. Well, we don't do that now. You're saying that as a suggestion?
No, for the downtown or for the bid.
That's a private.
Okay, is that how you want to do it? Okay.
Yeah, there's no.
Yeah, I don't think the town's looking for additional expenses.
Sure.
Yeah, and there's so much money that could be put into the development of the economic part of the uptown that I think that money will go fast.
The one thing I should have copied this, but I'm going to send it to all of you. This is the action plan, and with streetscape improvements being kind of the first thing that we do. And so lighting would be first, landscaping and street trees, street furniture, kind of Sal related to what you just said about garbage, but trash receptacles, bus stops, overhead wires, taking them down. That'll be pricey. Yep.
Is that the implementation plan from the Uptown study?
I think so.
Yeah.
It's in that binder.
Yeah. But it's very, it's directly related to where have we left? I was reading the wayfinding plan yesterday for the town and the city. And where have we left that? I know it's grant oriented, but do you know, Sarah?
I don't. I wasn't following along with that one.
I hadn't been either, and I did read it, and
I'm not familiar with it. Is it a collaborative?
It is. The LDC funded it.
Okay.
It's a collaborative plan to mesh the wayfinding with the town and the city, and it's actually an amazing plan. It's very expensive. What'd you say?
I said except for the yellow.
I'm not crazy about the look of it, but look at the sign. The idea is great, and it brings the city and the town together.
Sorry,
it's funny. You haven't seen it?
I haven't.
Right.
It's in the.
So I didn't get all.
Is it in here? Is it in this? I was looking at it online. Let's see if it's in here. It's a great plan. Like I said, I was reading it online. Oh yeah, it's in here. It's tab 8. It's very expensive.
I think it was expensive.
It's really.
Depends on the material that you use.
Right. I mean, they're like a high end, like, here's just an example.
Last 3 years.
I think it's so like this, I can't remember exactly how long we said, but like the sign material that we used to make the gateway signs, they said with some touching up here and there, they can last 15 plus years. And, you know, they gave us examples of signs they put in communities around here a long time ago that are still standing, but you know, again, it may need to be touched up here and there.
They're facing north, they last twice as long as in the other direction. Trust me.
Yeah, the sun will fade it.
Yeah.
So where is wayfinding I mean, this probably needs to be a goal that we step up a little bit, don't you think? If we get people in there and they can't find things and.
It's a great, I mean, it's a great collaborative effort with the town and the city. I just don't know where it was left with the LDC. That's a Doug question. Yeah.
And it looks like we could do part. I mean, there's quite a bit of just uptown in there as well. I know we're going to collaborate and because it's directing people all over the place, but.
Oh, so you're saying start with the bid with uptown signage?
I mean,
it's not a bad idea.
I mean, there's probably some key signs that are in there that we would not want to not have, you know what I mean?
Sal, have you seen the plan, the gateway sign or the wayfinding plan?
Yes, I have.
Okay.
Yep.
Oksana, did you have any comments? Is she on? She's at.
I think she's muted on the phone. Oh no.
She comes in with 2 numbers.
Right.
Yeah.
We were talking about placement of the town of Canandaigua signs. I think she brought it up at the last meeting, like, when is that gonna happen?
Oh, we're working on
There,
That is
Sarah's, that's like
happening.
imminent.
That's a good thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
It'll be nice to see those out.
It's dependent on the sign company's schedule, you know, because they're doing other signs, and what we have is much bigger. And we've got 6 signs for them to put in. And the weather. So Jim's been talking with the folks from the sign company every week. So he actually told me yesterday, potentially this week or next week.
Oh wow. The 1 at 21. Go ahead, Sal.
No, that's great. Yeah,
that's exciting.
Yeah.
Are they gonna do anything with that little tractor? That
is different. That was something I think, and I don't want to speak incorrectly, but I thought that may have been a chamber of commerce.
I think it is. I think it mentions that right on that sign.
The tractor's moving. Okay.
I don't know about there, but I believe that sign is coming.
That's on
21.
Yeah, going into on East Gibson. Yeah.
So I'm not certain.
I was just wondering. I keep going by it and wondering what's happening with that.
The southern end coming up on 21, where the green sign.
Yes.
The state has a sign that says Town of Canandaigua, coming up, you know, out of Naples. Our sign will be put really close to that, and I think what Jim and I were talking about is we think and we hope that the green sign will come out, because ours is going to replace it.
How just DOT would have to do that? Take theirs out.
I mean, we've been working with DOT the whole
time. Is that south of Cheshire? I mean, where is I'm not.
Yes.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, continued on 21 south.
So
past Monks Road.
It's where
town,
it's on the town line then.
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah, but facing north, obviously.
Right.
Sarah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Has a decision been made about 332 where the sign is going to go?
Yes.
The big sign?
Yes.
Can I suggest like a ribbon cutting? Because that is a major sign for the town.
It's not a very safe place to have people for a ribbon cutting. But
okay, well, I don't know.
between Orange.
Where is that sign gonna go?
Just south of the intersection, a little ways, maybe 50, 100 yards.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I don't know if I'm saying it exactly right, but south, you know where the Geneco produce place is?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's not right out in front of that, it's further south. Within this,
Okay.
it's inside the right of way of the state road. There's a wider area down there that's where we're gonna put it.
Okay.
But yeah, it doesn't really lend itself to people walking to that location. It's you know, in the grass off the side.
Could we park at Geneco's? I mean, it's not going to be very many people.
It's a good opportunity. I think, is that what you're thinking, Oksana, to just really talk about what the town is doing?
Right.
What
Yeah,
about,
I agree with that.
I mean, we would
there's other
definitely-
locations that might be safer,
We'll
though.
definitely publicize it.
What about
but
364? That location? There's more of a area to pull off. It's not as busy.
Will they kind of all go in at once or being
Except
within?
that.
the first day?
That one is, oh, okay,
Because
because of,
so Jim and I were talking about that one because it's kind of going in where the neighborhood's gonna go and they're gonna be putting in a driveway. You know,
it could get damaged.
maybe we
Wait,
until they're done doing all their earth moving.
it's a good
I
idea.
mean, the easement is in a corner.
It
far away
is.
from where their plans for doing stuff, but I asked him about that and I said, should we maybe hold off on that until we know, you know, what they're gonna do. I mean, thinking about like the way Pierce Brook is right now, it can get pretty messy in
It
there. Maybe
does.
we need to wait
It's a good idea.
for that one,
Yeah,
but
okay,
the rest of them. We can, I mean, it's decided at least, we know where it's gonna go, but.
yeah,
And I was gonna ask you about that anyway.
okay.
You can help me with a timeline for that.
Would we put a town sign on Bristol Road?
It's gonna go in, yeah. Do you drive that way? There's a stake with an orange
Oh, I
flag.
don't go out that
I
far.
drive it every day.
Yeah, that's your neck of the woods.
Bristol Road, yeah.
Yeah,
What's
there's
the
a
sign,
nice,
Montana,
no,
Mm-mm.
further in?
You know, the old farm on 32 south of Fisher Hill Road. That they've been working on the last few years. It's got a bunch of buildings. It's where the old 32 goes between the houses and the main Route 32. I don't know. It's north of Furman, south of Fisher Hill.
Is that where they had the auction? They had all the equipment?
Fletcher.
Yes, yeah,
Fletcher Farm.
It's
Yeah.
right
yes.
across the
Yeah.
street.
Okay.
Well, right where the Bristol welcome sign is. It's
Okay.
practically right across the street from it. There's another nice wide spot where there's a little bit more right away.
That's a good spot.
Yeah, Jim and I walked every spot a couple of weeks ago to make sure that, you know, the locations that MRV helped us with made sense.
Mhm.
Mhm.
For, you know, viewing from traffic and, you know, keeping it out of the ditch and stuff like that. But yeah, I hear you, Oksana. I do definitely want us to let people know and celebrate it. I'm just not sure how best to do it. I know 332 is the biggest one, but it is such a busy place and it's not easy to get to. There's a ditch, there's no parking.
The parking is the issue.
It's not parking that's
And
just like open, you know.
Well,
it's
yeah,
just
and then you have to
parking.
walk.
Well, if we
Along
sequence
the
the sign,
road.
I mean, obviously the signs aren't gonna all hit at the same time. If you sequence them in and you decide which one we're gonna do a ribbon cutting on, put that one in first.
Well, we're working with the sign company on schedule of installing.
Right.
So that's not really. We're not. It's not-
Okay. Okay, I have a suggestion. When those signs go up, we already have one of the biggest signs at Town Hall.
Mhm.
Why don't we just have a ribbon cutting at the Town Hall sign? And that will be safe, and in the article, we can say where the rest of the signs are.
I think
How
that-
would that
It's
be?
a great idea.
Good idea.
that's probably the most practical.
Okay,
We should do a little
well,
map that shows the sign locations.
But I might need to adjust it.
Right.
well, because I think
Messenger.
the sign, the Gateway Signage
put it
Committee,
online.
I mean, yeah, has been waiting, and I think it would just be kudos to them for working on this for a whole year.
We could also
So
put in the
that's
newsletter
my-
coming
Oh,
soon.
yeah, we will.
Yeah.
Right, right. Okay, so it's up to you when we can do this, after the rest of the signs are up.
Yeah, we're
And then
kind
we
of
can meet at,
on that schedule, yeah. But I think that.
okay.
Mhm.
Great.
Sal, what do you think?
I'm thinking because the transportation is an issue and safety. I'm just throwing this out there because we've done it before. Can we like use a school bus to take people around on a route to show them where all the signs are?
I like a map
Oh,
better.
maybe-
We give away at the, where
Huh?
the grand opening here and we gave people a map. Like here's where they are. Cause you know,
It's a lot less expensive.
right, we'd have to hire a school bus.
Oh.
See, now I'm talking from the town board standpoint of not spending money. So,
Right.
piece of paper costs.
Oh, insurance, right, in case something happens.
Right, right. We can make it in the shape of a school bus, maybe the piece of
Yeah,
paper.
Well,
you got me thinking. That's dangerous.
Well, RTS, Bonnie McGuire, she's the representative, in Ontario County. So she let us have a bus when we did the Uptown tour, and the bus was packed. I mean, people are just interested in what is going on in the town. And this was a really good plan for us to show people what has been happening.
Yeah, that was
So,
great. That was the original
yes.
Economic Development Committee that did that tour. It was like an all-day thing, and they toured Uptown and everything.
Right.
It seems like that might be a good thing to repeat
mhm.
now that things have changed.
Right.
You're thinking of combining the signage and uptown development?
No, I mean, no, not personally. I was just talking about Uptown. The tour they did years ago was just to get people familiar with Uptown and the vision for it. And now that we have all these plans in place and all of that stuff is actually kickstarted, it might be kind of fun to repeat that Uptown tour.
Maybe we'd want to wait till something like that new building opens. You know,
Yeah.
that would be a good time. to
That's
maybe
gonna
think
be,
about-
yeah.
Yeah, that would
It's
be.
not that far off.
I think he's gonna be open, I'm gonna say May, I
Yeah.
bet.
So that's a nice time of the year from a
Mhm.
weather standpoint as well. And we could maybe incorporate a sign tour.
Yeah, well, by then the one in Uptown would be in place, so, or. no,
332.
I'm sorry, the
Yeah.
one on 332 would be there, so that would be a
Yep.
little side trip.
And then we'll also hopefully have the conceptual plan for Uptown Landing, which is a 10 to 15 year build out of
Yeah,
thousands of square feet of residential and commercial. We could, scoot over and, and then show the realignment of Airline and Uptown Boulevard. Yeah, we could do a lot. Blue Heron, I'm gonna stop there.
You're right. This is how it builds up. I mean, you can do a lot, just from an idea. I mean,
Mhm.
How many people do you want to get involved? Different not-for-profit profits. There's a lot.
Well, when our economic development team, I mean, we had a lot of people on the team, and some of them didn't even know what was happening in Uptown.
Right.
And so it was very interesting to them. And not only the Uptown tour, but when we had other field trips, like to Pactiv, to the farm, the sausage place, Artisan
Meats.
Yeah. And there are so many things that we can promote, and just in our newsletter, or just online on Facebook or whatever. But I think the newsletter is really important, that we can focus on, say, the economic development, and then list the items that are the plans that are going on, and so on and so forth. And, for every committee. And, we've always been talking about communication and how important that is. And really, there's so much going on, but nobody knows about it. Like, nobody knows, I don't think, about the transfer station new plans. And, when Terry Finelli came and presented all those new plans, and I had said at the next board meeting, or the next CIC meeting, that we need to highlight all of that so people know ahead of time. So I think we need to focus on the communication, letting people know what is going on. And I think that they would be so excited, because people have asked me, what is that building that they say, what is that weird building going on next to Monroe Muffler? And, so I know what's going on, but nobody else does.
Right. That's something we talked about last year in terms of direction of the CIC, was that transparency piece and the communication piece. Now we still have that, and we have a smaller portion of money, but we still have some of that in our budget for 2023. That was important to this committee, that we don't lose sight of that.
Right. Weren't we talking about getting someone like a professional?
We were, but that was
part-time,
right.
Help us do this.
Right, because that is, we talked a lot about the different ways to get information out based on your demographic. The 20-somethings aren't going to look on a newsletter. They want it on their phone, and they want to look at it for 10 seconds. They're not reading the paper, versus we do have a contingent that reads the newsletter, which is great. But our hits on Facebook.
Yeah,
there's
still,
just different.
A lot of people, but we can push it out. It's just if people want to look at it.
Yeah.
So what does the CIC, what direction does the CIC want to give to the town board? Because that meeting's rolling up. It's
coming.
It's less than 3 weeks away, or it is 3 weeks away, 4 weeks, I guess. So what does the CIC want? What message does the CIC want to give to the town board?
I think my first question would be this goal, number one, develop and implement the bid plan. What does the board want the CIC to do? What does the bid board expect to get from the CIC when this goal is what given?
So it's a cart and horse issue here.
Exactly. Yes, you're right.
The town board hasn't met, and the town board is the bid. But I think the CIC has a unique position that you can maybe drive some behavior, because I'm not alone with it. I mean, what is it? What are we going to do? I mean, we're meeting to kind of we're going to, I mean, it's formed, but we're really going to, you know, expand that out now. So, I mean, this committee has the ability to drive behavior.
And I think that is a question that can be answered by the board. The board has to make a statement. However, coming out and say, when you're coming into Canandaigua, what is it you want to see? You want to see flowers on poles? You want to see signs? What's important to the board? I know money is a big issue, and all these things cost a lot of money to be able to implement. But in the long run, they end up saving you money in terms of, you know, labor, people doing things on the streets. I don't know. I see direction coming from the board. What's important to them, and then we can use that as our guideline to go back and say, hey, you know, we're going to check on. We need to keep an eye on this, if you will.
Well, on page 5 of 21, there's 11 goals there. I mean, if we prioritize them, like you said, flower boxes. I mean, right now, flowers wouldn't be much, but how do we enhance entering the uptown area today? That's not going to be a lot of money, but would be a significant enhancement to, wow, something's really going on there. Because I think what we need to do, not the town board, but we as this committee and the town, we need to educate people about uptown and let them know there's exciting things happening there and they want to be part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Last year,
go ahead.
Sarah, do you remember, was it last year or 2 years ago? We met the economic development team and Jim Fletcher and you and I about 332 and what kind of enhancements there that we could do with the bid businesses. And we actually had like little graphics. And I think the little graphics, visuals are always great, okay? So there are visuals in the Uptown Master Plan, and maybe we could show some of that, or the board could show some of that. I mean, there were benches, there were, you know, banners,
yep.
all kinds of flowers, bicycle racks. Why have sidewalks when people have no place to like walk and sit? You know, just
but I agree.
Graphic.
I totally agree with you, Oksana. And I think those things that you mentioned, that, you know, banners, flowers and benches, they're not that expensive, you know, from a standpoint of that.
Right.
The enhancements there, and people drive by and see something happening, and that's part of it. But I think that's the direction this committee should give the town board. Like, we need to start this process. We don't need to look at pictures anymore. We need to get going and put some enhancements there. We've collected money from the people that are in there. And if we have to spend a little of our own, that's not a bad thing, but we really need to make people aware of what's going on there. And I don't think any of us are alone, that people don't know that. They just don't.
Right. They don't.
So small improvements to let people know that you are somewhere important. That
right. It's kind of an announcement, like this is different. This is different. It's now different than it was 6 months ago.
Sure, right.
One very small thing would be just to trim some of those trees, get rid of the dead ones, fix the root suckers. I mean, that's so cheap.
Yeah.
How about we have a walkthrough?
It's probably a great idea. That's a really good idea. Probably a good idea.
You know, because things have changed over there.
So could we organize a walkthrough before the meeting on the 17th? Because that would be good goal.
Yeah.
For this committee to say, hey, town board, we need you to walk through this. Right. Right.
Right.
Right.
Everybody goes together.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So that's a great first step because we're all talking about things and then we can.
Dealerships if we could park there.
Yeah.
I'm sure Randy would like.
Steps.
Yeah.
At Taps parking lot's always 3/4 empty.
Yeah, we can. Exactly.
The front part of Taps parking lot is never anybody in it.
Well, in that, say we walk from Evans Auto, whatever it is now, that's a spot. I just think because I used to work up on Parkside. There's no benches. There's a beautiful sidewalk, and it is just desolate. You know, so if we started on that side, walk the sidewalk up.
And have maybe some ideas like a handout or something to talk about like, hey, this is why we need benches. This is why we need even garbage cans, like we were saying before. I don't know if it's going to empty them where the garbage is going to go, but to have those kind of enhancements, they don't cost that much and they really can look nice, like bike racks. Even though you'd park your bike to go nowhere, it's still something that really steps out, you know.
So this is like the meeting Oksana was talking about. We kept using the phrase the low hanging fruit.
Right.
Yes.
What can you do now with less, small amount of funds, relatively small amount of funds, while the bigger picture is happening in the background to make improvements?
Well, we can also go there. We can create a little map. We can walk with.
And everybody's bench go there.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Proposed bench, proposed bike rack, just and they're small enhancements, but they stand out when you're driving through, walking through.
Right.
And there's quite a bit of foot traffic there that comes from that one housing developments there. I ride my bike in there quite a bit. And there's people walking all over the place in there. So we would be helping, it would be nice for them to see those enhancements as well.
If you stop and think about it, what's the first thing you notice when you drive to a community or downtown? It's the cleanliness.
Yes.
Are things all picked up? And what you're saying, the amenities that, could be there, whether it's a water fountain for your dog because you're out walking or whatever.
It's like you say, it's cleaning up the trees, the garbage, all that kind of stuff. That's such a minimal cost to make that look right.
Right.
And I think that we should invite Jim Fletcher.
Yeah.
So we have the app for the sidewalk envisionment. We could just use that. And we could go in
about that because
see if she could.
It has, it's already built in such a way that you can put a dot and
exactly, and then you can write your comment.
Right.
So maybe we use that.
That app is inviting comments that have to do with pedestrian.
So we get a twofer out of this, actually. Anyway, right? Yeah.
Not all the information we would share for this field trip would have relevance to the plan, but
you could still put a note bench traffic in.
It's
relevant.
Not a bad idea to have a paper one too.
Yeah, I'd like a paper map.
Which would be easy.
We could do that.
But it would be nice to incorporate this into it as well, because then you can go in and it'll be good for input for this plan as well, right?
Yes, because some of the comments will be completely relevant to that.
They will, absolutely.
Crossing,
Right. I feel unsafe
here.
Right.
Yeah, that safety factor crossing over to Tom Walls Plaza, people get really nervous
and the
about
bike rack at Tom Walls and Ray's. I ride in there for breakfast and park my bike in the grass or the gravel.
I mean, that's such an easy thing to fix. Absolutely. You know what I mean? It's just so.
Where do you park your bike?
Just on the
gravel. Do you
in
the back?
No, right.
You just do it in the front?
Yeah, because I don't have a lock either. I don't want to
be nervous about that.
Yeah. Okay, who's gonna plan?
No place to put it.
What's that, Sal?
I just wanted to throw something else out there. Is that when something to definitely consider is water. When you're putting in the poles, the light poles and stuff, if you can put water on those poles because it sounds like you want flowers and that type of thing to water them. Those flower baskets hold an enormous amount of water. And when it gets hot out there, it turns into an oven. And sometimes they have to be watered 2 times a day. And depending on the size of those baskets, it takes time. If you're paying somebody, I don't know, $10 an hour, that gets priced.
Did you encounter that in the city, Sal?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
Don't they drive a water truck up and?
Yeah, I thought
They-
they like
they
on
do.
Main Street with a water truck.
And you know, we could do the same thing. We're gonna have that tool cat. They just put a tank in the back of it, but just a question of paying someone to do it.
That would be
Yeah.
a big cost.
That
Yeah,
would be a,
big
yeah,
cost,
it
right.
would be a cost.
Sarah,
all good ideas.
When we had that meeting about the uptown landscaping and stuff,
From the-
we talked about the meeting.
Flower.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are we allowed
That's
Are
what-
we allowed to,
Yeah.
do something there
I
in the
don't
medium?
know. I know we mow them. I don't know what the goal is with the medians.
Mhm.
I know they're not. very-
Okay.
There's some opportunity for them.
There's some, that's right. That's I mean, I don't know what
I
the
mean,
collaboration would have to be with the state to change those, but we could do that.
Those look great.
how beautiful is downtown when you have all the Christmas trees along the median, and now they have those snowflake
Right.
lighted up. Yeah, how it's gorgeous. And so we have the longest media that we can actually put something there. So, I mean, electricity would be good and water. So I don't know. I know 15 years, you're right, Sal. It's going to take 15 years.
Oh, for sure.
But we can do something quickly,
Right.
Right.
just to dress it up some.
Yeah.
What would have the most dramatic effect that we could do the most rapidly and would cost the least? Those, if you use those 3 things to guide us, just to get us out of the box, you know what I mean? And then,
Yeah.
Flowers.
boxes,
Yeah.
benches, and the trees.
right,
Yes,
Trim the
benches,
trees,
right.
flowers.
a few bike racks.
Right.
Flower boxes on the ground would be easier to.
Yeah.
water, right?
Well, if there's adjacent water, but I don't know how you get water.
We
to the-
always put a tank in that tool
Yeah,
cat
that would
thing.
that's gonna be the
It's-
only option.
It's gonna come in April, so it'll be during flower season, so it's another use for that $100,000 piece of equipment, so.
Oh, wow. Just the hanging baskets at the pavilions, like at Pierce Park, those made a huge impact. They just looked. those
Just
looked really
flowers in
nice.
the parks have made a huge
Yeah.
impact, just dolling up the signs. I mean, you look at that and you think, people
They
care. So
care.
I'm with you. It's
Yes.
like, if I haven't walked there, so I'm guilty of it. But I ride my bike through there, but I go too fast. So I don't see trees that need trimming or garbage that needs to be picked up. But that's such a simple solution that we really have to get, we'll get the town board through and whoever else is going to go on this tour through and say, this is what we need to do.
Can
But-
we talk about a date for the tour?
Yeah, it's really honestly gonna be, it'd be nice if it's weather,
But we
Good
can't,
weather.
we can't.
It's getting
I know.
better.
but we're getting, yeah.
Like the week before the meeting.
Yeah, I was thinking the week of the
It's already
10th.
maybe gonna get warmish by.
Yeah, that would be,
maybe.
we'd be pushing it out kind of right up before it, and then it'd be fresh in everybody's.
Well,
mind.
right, it would be right before your 17th meeting.
Would we want to notify all the businesses that we are doing this? And
Yes,
if they
Yes.
want to join us?
yes.
You're
Because
reading my mind, Oksana. I mean,
There-
we've got some big hitters.
Okay.
They're key.
They're paying the taxes, right? So they'll be
Yeah.
happy to see some progress. I personally have a meeting 11, 12, and 13.
So the 10th or the 14th. Fridays are always nice.
Fridays are nice in the afternoon.
Yeah, do a Friday.
Yeah, let's do the 14th.
Okay.
I'm away until the end of April, but that's okay.
Oh, no.
We can zoom you in.
Yeah.
Zoom me in.
I'll carry you on my phone, Sal.
All right.
Walk you around.
Where are we gonna meet?
Let me talk to Randy. Well, do we want to do that? Or do we want to
Start at one end and start at Tops, go up to the Cadillac dealer, across the street, come back down. Yeah.
Yeah,
What time do you think? It'll
say
take a
2.
couple hours, 2-ish.
Yeah.
Let's do 2.
So we're
So
talking
start at
Friday, what
Tops.
did you say, the 14th?
14.
Tops, you said? Yeah, we'll start
Two-
at
two-
2 o'clock.
Should we talk to Tops as well?
I don't think they care.
No, they won't care.
Okay.
They'd be happy.
They'll
to
be-
have
they'll
people in
think
there.
Maybe we'll
that-
stop and buy something afterwards, right?
Exactly.
Good idea. Let's hope it doesn't
4:14.
rain.
Great idea.
Yeah, nice.
That's a good action.
Oh, this.
We can tick something off right away.
CIC field trip.
Yeah, CIC field trip.
Right. That's
Uptown
perfect to
walking.
call it that.
Uptown
Walking
walking
tour.
tour. I like
Yeah.
that. That sounds.
Sponsored by the CIC.
Oh.
Let's get the CIC in there somewhere.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, not sponsored. I like sponsorships.
In
We're not paying for anything.
We're
We'll figure it
hey,
organized.
you guys,
Hosted.
um,
by the
Hosted by the
CIC.
CIC.
I have a concern.
Yes.
If they're
Okay.
meeting, if the town board meeting with the bid or with the businesses is on the 17th, is that a Monday?
Yes.
We're not meeting with the businesses.
Okay,
We're meeting as the
Bid.
bid, as the bid, which is just the town board.
oh,
So it would
oh,
actually,
okay.
it would actually be nice to meet with the businesses before that meeting. You know, from an informational standpoint, at least in my mind.
Okay, because I thought it was a meeting with the businesses, because if we are doing the walkthrough on a Friday, there's not going to be any time to put together, like a map with the ideas or whatever.
So my understanding of the organizational meeting of the bid on Monday at 5 o'clock is to organize. And what does the bid need to do? What
Okay.
direction is it going to take? So this is actually, in my mind, if I understand it correctly, would be very timely, fresh in people's minds of what the bid of what Uptown looks like. I'm sure there are people that have no idea, that are on the town board that haven't walked there in a while, myself included.
I have one
Right.
per year.
Yeah.
Same.
Well, and something to remember, the role of the CIC here is to, it's a two-way street. The CIC can make a recommendation to the bid board. It's kind of a tongue twister.
Bid board.
But, the bid themselves, the town board is the one that does the actual decision making.
Right.
It's the hiring, the decisions they make, so this group, the CIC can't actually take action unless the board approves it and says, okay, we'll approve whatever, buying benches or all this stuff, the bid board. And then the CIC can help with that, but yeah, we can't do anything unless we're.
But we can be directional.
Directed.
We can be
Yeah.
directional so
we
that,
can give
and-
recommendations.
right, but I think. I can only speak by myself when I say the town board, but
Right.
I think I'm not alone in wanting direction. Because
Mhm.
it's new ground for everyone on the board, no matter how long you've been
Well,
there.
that's kind of
Right.
why it's like a two-way street.
Right,
This group
right.
can say, hey, we have these
But-
ideas, and then you can come back and say, we like this one, but not that one. And make,
Right.
take action on it, and then, depending on what it is. It falls in different departments to make it happen.
Yeah, to make it actually. So.
Right, and to make the town board understand, this is why we need garbage cans, this is why we need bike racks, you know what I mean? It's just not something like, why do we need bike racks? Nothing's there. Well, we do, we have someone who rides their bike into the Uptown with no place to put their bike, so I mean, that's such an easy solution.
Well, part of it is the facility is not really there yet because Uptown is still growing, but if you start putting them in ahead of schedule, I think it might
It's the
generate more
impetus.
interest.
Yeah.
I'm totally right. It's about,
If you
right,
build it, they will come.
Exactly.
Maybe not totally, but in a way, I think, like you said, people will say, hey, this is different than it was a
Right.
year ago. Something's happening. here.
Right.
Yes.
Little user-
that's all we want is
user
to
friendly.
pique people's interests, right?
Going back to bid. Do we have two bids? We got a city,
Yes.
Yes.
There are
city,
two bids.
so should we differentiate this as Uptown bid
It
or?
is the Uptown.
That's what it's called, the
Okay,
Uptown
we
bid.
should clarify when we talk about it.
It is.
Okay, it's not
Uptown
in
bid.
this thing, but
Yeah.
If
Yes,
we
there's two.
no,
Yeah, they
just
are
a little
completely
like I do.
separate.
I'm thinking, okay, wait a minute, there's another one that's with the chamber in the city
And-
and so on.
And at some point in time, we would hope there's some collaboration. Well, we hope there's collaboration with them as well. So,
Right.
but right now, we're at a different place.
But
than-
this is
than-
a selfish
then the-
bid,
Right,
right?
right.
Uptown.
And we're getting bike racks, not planning fire and ice. You know what I mean? So we're in such a different place right now, so that, and we hope to be, in my mind, we hope to be in that place.
Right.
Where we're
That's
planning
where you're gonna be in
events.
5, 10 years,
Right,
that kind of
right,
stuff.
right. But right now, we just have to make people aware there's something different, something happening, something
Right.
going on and exciting, and you want to be a part of it.
As
Mhm.
it relates to that, I just wanted to mention that the town did win the Pomeroy zoning
Yes,
award
we did.
from the New York Planning Federation for the form-based code.
Yeah.
Which is amazing. Yeah,
And
so
what it means is that the New York Planning Federation is recognizing the town's efforts, everything leading up to and including the creation of our plan-based code as an example of zoning excellence across
for the state,
So will that help us get grants? It probably will, right?
I'm sure it will.
Yeah,
But
I would
it's
think so.
nice that a state organization is
It's
recognizing
recognized,
what
right,
we did.
right. So.
Many kudos to you guys that were all involved.
So it's just, I guess it too, that there, there's importance to what's happening and what has happened.
And maybe that's a good thing to put on whatever flyer we're handing out, that we're gonna, our little map, you know what I mean? Winner of, because
Oh, yeah, we
I
could
don't-
do that.
I don't think, I'm on the town board, I hadn't heard this yet, so yeah,
It just
so,
happened last week.
Yeah,
yeah,
we just
yeah.
found out,
The award won't be presented until,
well, the night of the town board meeting.
correct.
Right.
Yeah, well, we won't be
In
there.
Saratoga.
Yeah, we'll be in Saratoga. But yeah, it's
It's
huge.
outstanding, wow.
Yeah, that
Mhm.
is.
Gee.
Okay, all right, so Sarah and I will work on.
Yeah.
We'll work on invite, and we'll get some details hammered out and for the walking tour.
In those details, I would push out a save the date to everyone that you want to come. You know, the town board members. 2 o'clock's an easier time for most, but
We're gonna have to advertise them because will have a quorum potentially, town board will, so we'll have to advertise. it
yes,
As a
we will have
meeting.
quorum, right? We should, if we don't have a quorum, I'll be pretty disappointed.
Right, so we'll have to do a press release. then.
Right,
We'll talk to Gene and Doug.
Yeah, we'll
Right.
talk to them,
Right.
yeah,
right. But maybe as soon as you do and they sign off on it, if get that out to people as quickly as we can.
Has John got a power chair?
No, but he's pretty good about wheeling along.
That's a long way to go and
Yes. So, but maybe,
that's a good consideration, think about that, so.
You can give him a golf cart.
Could he rent one
Well,
for
and
the
it's-
day?
this.
The thing-
$100,000.
Does the-
I don't want to speak for John. I don't want to speak for John, but he does,
Like a
he
gator
pretty
or-
much wheels along anywhere. I don't know that. I mean, I think it's a good question to ask him
Mhm.
before we made any steps,
He
He's
may
pretty,
have-
pretty independent on that.
But he may have a motorized one.
Yeah. I've never seen him in one,
I
so
haven't either.
just a consideration. It will
Yeah.
be, it's probably a mile, would you say that it's gonna be?
Probably,
It's
Probably out
it-
back,
Out
it's
back.
all level, but
Right.
semi-level. And I don't know.
We'll find out where the curb
sidewalk-
cuts are there,
Yeah,
won't we?
curb cuts, Yeah, right. You don't know
Yeah.
until you're there.
all right. When is our next meeting?
April 18th.
Where-
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
I
perfect.
think it's
You won't
April
be here, Sarah.
18th.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sarah and I will not be here, we'll still be in Saratoga,
Maybe we should postpone it.
Yeah, can we do it,
Put it over a week.
push it up to the 25th?
Push it out to the 20th.
Yeah, 4:25.
Sure.
Okay.
It's my birthday.
Oh, yay.
25th.
Yeah.
What time?
We'll do
9.
9. Does that work for you, Dave?
I have PT that day, but I'll figure it out. I goofed it up today so I can.
Oh yeah, you're not in the sling.
Right.
All right. Great. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good
you
sunny
all.
day.
Okay, have
Bye.
fun. Sal, have fun on your vacation.
Thank you. I'm going back out and see the alligators.
Oh,
Nice.
Oh, okay. All right.
all we want to see is the sun here.
I think they're
Yeah.
grown guys.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah. Running in zigzag.
Can I just say something to Dave? Dave,
Yes.
I'm really happy that you are so engaged.
Yeah.
Did you hear me?
Yes, and I hope you don't grow to regret that.
Well, I'll let you know.
Yeah, last night at the meeting, I thought Jarrett would go through the committee, then ask for a report, and he didn't, and then he went right to the next thing. So I will alert him next time that I would, if one of you are not there, that I would at least like to make, you know, let him know what the CIC is up to.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. All right, bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thanks, Oksana.